All right, this is Jonah chapter 1, verses 5 and 6. Then the mariners were afraid, and each cried out to his God. And they hurled the cargo that was in the ship into the sea to lighten it for them. But Jonah had gone down into the inner part of the ship, and had lain down and was fast asleep. And so the captain came and said to him, "What do you mean, you sleeper? Arise, call out to your God. Perhaps the God will give us a thought, or give a thought to us, that we may not perish." So because of Jonah's disobedience here, God caused a great storm to come upon the ship that he was traveling in. The other men were terrified because they believed that the ship was going to break apart and that they'd all drown. And so they began to pray. However, one of the main points of the passage is that they were calling out to a God other than the true God, or maybe they were calling out to multiple gods other than the true God. Also, they tried to make their ship lighter and safer by throwing everything overboard. And yet, ironically, Jonah had fallen asleep beforehand and was continuing to sleep deeply as all of this chaos was taking place outside. Now, the captain was astonished that Jonah could be sleeping in such a horrific circumstance. And so he woke him up and ordered him to pray to his God as well. Now, at this point, the men on the ship seemed to view the world either as being ruled by multiple different gods in different areas of the world or shared areas of the world, or they have more of a superstitious attitude in that they're not really sure which God is truly real. And if it's the latter, that they don't know which God's the real God, then they're willing to believe anything if it'll lead to their safety. Now, there's a couple of things I'd like to point out here. First of all, Jonah's disobedience not only led to himself being in a dangerous situation, but it affected others too. Have you ever done something foolish in which it caused others to suffer for it? And second, we need to be prepared to help people spiritually by pointing them to God when they're in a crisis and they're asking for help. But if we're not being a godly example with our own lives, what kind of positive influence are we going to be? Now, as you meditate on this passage, I want you to think about this. Be a godly influence with your life to others. Think about that throughout your day. And as you respond to this passage in prayer, tell God that you like His wise spiritual guidance. This is praise. And ask Him to change you into someone who not only lives according to His wisdom, but to also let your life reflect more of His wisdom to others. And step out in faith. Make decisions today according to God's guidance, and be a good example to others.